My name is Rebecca, and I'm a foster and adoptive parent through LSSI. Lexi had been here, I think, about 6 months, so long enough that we knew each other fairly well and she'd settled in fairly well. Her caseworker suggested working with Lifebooks. Lexi has been in the foster system her whole life, and so she came to me at 6.5, not remembering anything except the last home that she was in. And so she had these huge gaps in her life that nobody had answers to. And so her caseworker at LSSI was able to go and get letters and pictures from her first 2 foster homes that she didn't know anything about. And for her to read a letter that said, when she was a baby, she would crawl and sleep with her head in the corner of the crib. That was something that was so meaningful to her because she didn't know that about herself. And before all of this, she would often talk about how nobody loved her and she didn't belong anywhere. And through the Lifebook process, it began to shift. And she would read these letters, and for her, I think it filled in that space. It made her feel like there were people who had cared about her and people who had loved her her whole life that she didn't even remember. And so that she was loved and she did belong places and she did belong in families. And so I didn't hear anymore, I don't belong here and I don't feel loved and nobody wants me. And it wasn't something she could really articulate. But it came out in the way that she was behaving. She looked so much more confident by the end of the process. And she felt comfortable asking questions about where she'd been and about her birth family, which we had hardly talked about before we started the Lifebook process. But it kind of opened the door for all of those conversations to happen and for her to feel safe and comfortable and know that this is a place that she could talk about her life before she got here without worrying that she wasn't supposed to, or she'd get in trouble, or she would hurt my feelings. But instead it was something that was okay to figure out and to process and to ask questions about.